Hi, boys and girls. Today's lesson is going to be lesson 7-4, and we're going to count by ones or tens to 120. Okay, this is really a good lesson to know, and it should be a real easy one for you guys. Before we start, I want to remind everybody that Mr. Fuzz will send home all the pages, the 4 pages, where am I? 4 pages to do with my video. The only thing is you really only have to do the first 2, okay? The first 2 pages that I do in the video are what you should be following along and filling out while I am doing it on the video, okay? The reason why Mr. Fuzz sends the last 2 pages home with you guys, just in case you have an issue with your technology that you're using, and this way you can still do work that is going to help you with that lesson, okay? So if you do the lesson online through Envisions afterwards, you don't have to do the 2 pages. But let's say you and your parents decide you want a little more practice, then you have a couple extra pages to work with. If your technology goes down and you don't have connection and you can't connect and there's some issues, then you still have 2 pages to practice with. And that's why Mr. Fuzz sends all 4. Okay, I just wanted to give everybody a reminder. So you do not have to bring those 4 pages back, but remember when you're doing the lesson online, when you do the share, the solve and share, that first part online, you can take a picture of your work that we did together on through the video. And then the third one, which is the one right after the little cartoon, is the convince me. And you can take a picture of that as well and post it in the assignment, and you don't have to write or draw anything out. So if you follow along with the video and you pause it when you need to make sure you're filling it out correctly and writing everything I write on screen on your paper, then you'll have probably half of the stuff you need for your lessons online, okay? All right, hope that clears stuff up for you guys, but let's get to it. Let's get to lesson 7-4, counting by ones or tens to 120. When we're doing this video, when we're doing this lesson, boys and girls, I really want you to think about what number is changing, which of the numbers are changing and why, because that's going to be really important today, okay? All right, let's get started. Okay, now we're back to it. So, like I said, today is lesson 7-4, count by ones or tens to 120. Now, a lot of you guys can do this already, but it's a really good review for friends who need to do this, okay? And we're going to be using a tool called the hundredths chart or a number chart. Can't call it a hundredths chart because it goes past 100, goes to 120. But these are all numbers and it's in a chart, so we're going to call it the number chart. Pretty easy, right? After today's lesson, boys and girls, you're going to be able to say, I can find number patterns on a number chart, okay? Great, let's get some drawing tools here. Let's see what we're going to use today, something fancy. Nothing crazy. I don't know, I used pink last time. Let's see if I can use the light blue. I don't know, I feel like a light blue morning here. So that being said, we're going to go over to the solve and share. We should all know where this is by now, okay? So it's right here in the corner, and we have to make sure we're following along with this, okay? I'm going to read it to you. Look at the directions. It says count by tens count by 10 starting at 10. Color the numbers you count yellow. What pattern do you see? Count by ones starting at 102. Draw a red square around the numbers. Count by tens starting at 34. Draw a blue circle around the numbers. Describe the pattern for each. Okay, boys and girls, what we're going to do is I'm going to pick colors, but if you don't have your crayons or your colored pencils at home, just make sure that you do the shapes that they're asking for, okay? The yellow ones, you can do a triangle with those if you need to. That's an awful triangle, Mr. Fuzz. What are you doing? There we go. There's a better triangle. Draw a red square. So you're going to do squares for this one. And then count by 10, starting at draw a circle. So you guys can use the shapes if you don't have the colors, okay? I'm gonna try using the colors because I like to stay as close as I can to the directions, but it's okay if you don't have anything with color and you're just using a pencil. Just remember the shapes. So the first thing we're gonna do is, we're gonna do the first part. It says, color the numbers in yellow. So I'm gonna use the highlighter here. That's a great thing because now I can do it. And it says, count by 10, starting at 10. So we're going to count by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I wonder if I see a pattern yet. Let's keep going. 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Okay, so there's our first step. So we did that one, right? We did that. Now it says, what pattern do we see? We see that the ones place, the 0 that's in the ones place stays the same. But then if we covered the 0 and we just look at the numbers next to it, we can see the digits change as if we're counting. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's like counting, but counting by tens. Oh, maybe that's why they say count by tens. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We're going to draw a red square around the numbers. So let's draw a red square around the numbers. Let me get my pen. Draw, Mr. Fuzz, not anything else. Let's see. Let's get a good red. Okay, so I got to draw squares around. So it says count by ones starting at 102. Okay, where's 102? So we're going to count by ones. 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110. Ooh, that's one we already took. We can't skip it. 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120. Okay, that's crazy. So what pattern do we see? What's happening in these? If we're just counting by ones, what place value changes? You're right, the digit in the ones place changes. Until it gets so big, it starts changing the tens too. Okay? And that changed it to a 110, and then 0, 1, 2, so it starts over. Okay, so we did that one. Red squares around the numbers. Count by 10 starting at 34. Draw a blue circle. Okay, so let's get the blue out. Mr. Fuzz loves this thing, you know I do. Here's the blue. Okay, so we're going to start, what did it say to start at? It said start at 34. Where's 34? We'll go down the threes, there we are. So we're going to draw a circle around 34. Okay, and we're going to count by tens. 34, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, one right under it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, something's happening. I bet you I know where the next circle is going to be. I bet you it's going to be right underneath. And we think about when we go down, boys and girls, on a number chart, when we go up and down, what place value changes? You're right, the tens place changes. Wow. Okay. So it's all about seeing what changes in the numbers and what doesn't change. And now remember, place value. The place where a digit is, just that one number in a whole number, tells us how much that number is worth. So your numbers, let's say we have 131. Actually, we're going to change that to 109. This guy, the 9, is in the ones place. The 0 is in the tens place. And we know this guy's in the hundreds place. Okay? So remember, think about which place is changing when you do your work, because that's going to be important. Okay? So we have to make sure. So if you have a 3-digit number, this is what the places are. If you have a 2-digit number, you're only worried about the tens and the ones. All right, so let's keep going. Let's scoot ourselves down and see what we got. Because Jada, I believe her name is going to help us out a lot. Let's pick a different color. You know, Mr. Fuzz and his colors. Let's see. Let's do a dark green today. You know what? Purple. We haven't used purple a lot. Let's do that instead. So you can count on a number chart to find a pattern. And it's all about a pattern today, boys and girls. Remember that a pattern is something that happens over and over again in similar ways, okay? So when we count by tens, we start at 10 and count 10, 20, 30, 40, okay? And so on. If we count by ones from the number 58, we start on 58 to 61, we do 58, 59, 60, 61. Okay, so that's an important understanding. Now, this word can get a little confusing, but it shouldn't, because it's only changing the tens place, okay? And then it starts changing the hundreds place if it's a higher number. It says count by tens starting at 84. So if we start at 84, we know that if we go down, it adds 10. So 84, 94, 104, 114. I wonder what's changing and what's staying the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and go down to guided practice. I'm going to try to keep this small, but it's going to be hard to answer it with such little text on here. So it says, convince me. Compare counting by ones and counting by tens. How are the patterns alike? How are they different? So they are alike. How are they alike? We can use the cartoon up top to show us. So this is counting by tens and this is counting by ones. So if we count by tens, 1 digit changes by ones, by 1, excuse me. So this 10 digit in the tens place changes to 2, changes to a 3, changes to the 4, but the ones stay the same. Okay. Now, if we count by ones, if we look here, until we get to a bigger number, the 10 stay the same. Okay. And then 59, we know, is the next 10, which is 60, 61. So it's like regular counting. Okay. So these all stay the same, but the ones place changes until we get to 10, and then it changes the tens place. So that's like regular counting. Okay. So they are alike because only one place value, one place changes until, let's try that again, until we get to 9. Fix that. Back to that until we get to a 9. But they are afferent. And remember, boys and girls, when I'm doing this fast, I'm not expecting you to write this as fast as Mr. Fuzz. Pause the video and copy it. Just remember to listen to how I'm doing the work and what I'm saying about the work, okay? Because that's important with this. So they are alike because only one place changes until we get to a 9. But they are different because of where the digit is in the number. Okay, boys and girls, and remember, Mr. Fuzz says if you have the room, if you run out of room, you can always use down here, okay? So that'll be there for a while, and you can certainly pause the video. And I also want friends to understand too, if they're getting confused at first, please start the video again. You can go through your papers, even if you filled it out, and check and see how you're understanding the lesson. And maybe it'll make more sense the next time, even the third time. You got all the time in the world, okay? So remember, guess where I got this answer from up here? Because Jada showed me what was changing and what was staying the same. Remember what I said, the trick is the answer to the convince me is always up in the visual learning bridge or the comic strip, all right? All right, let's go to guided practice and see if we can do this pretty good. So we're gonna see it, we're gonna see what we explained here in guided practice, okay? So let's get drawings. Change it to, I get so bored with colors, guys. I mean, you must be the same way. So let's see, I got this nice green. All right, guided practice. Write the numbers to continue each pattern. Use a number chart to help you. Now, if you guys need a number chart, guess where you can find one? Boop, right up there. So if you're like, Mr. Fuzz, I don't have a number chart. Oh my gosh, I don't know, what am I gonna do? You have one right in the comic strip. Jada gave you one and it goes to 120. Or you can flip back and forth if you need a bigger one because you have a number chart on the front page of this, okay? Remember? Remember that you have that right on the front end, okay? All right, guys. All right, so you got them all over the place. If you need to print one out at home, you can certainly Google number chart to 120, but I think you're gonna be absolutely fine with the ones you have already in front of you, okay? All right, good. So the first one says count by ones. 112, 113, 114. Before I know they gave us the answers, but I wonder what's changing if we're counting by ones. So if this is 112, 113, 114, this must be 115, 116, 117, 118, 119. And now remember, when we get to the 9, it changes another place value, but it's still counting up the same. So 120. Okay, now I want you to see something. If we got rid of the hundredths place, this 1 here, and we just looked at the 12, we just looked at this to say and pretend it was a 12, this would be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, let me get my light back on. There we go. Okay, let's look at number 2. Different color, different color, different color. All right, we'll go back to pink because I like pink. Count by tens. Now, which place value is going to change and which one's going to stay the same? That's important. So the ones place will have a 2 in it. It has a 2 all the time, but the ones that are changing are the tens place. Those guys, okay? So 22, 32, 42, 52. Notice that the ones place stayed the same, but the tens place went up by 1. If that's the case, what is the next one? I'm asking. Everybody raise your hand. Who's got it? You're right. It's going to be a 6. The tens place changes and goes up. The ones place stays the same. And so on. 72, 82, 92. And remember, when we hit the 9, it changes it to 10 and a 2. So same thing, if we get rid of the ones place and we just look at the tens place, we can see it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a 10, but the 2 stays in the same place, okay? Last one, let's scoot down a little bit, make it easier for Mr. Fuzz. So we have count by ones. I hope we can all count by ones by now. I'm pretty sure you all can. So this is going to be really easy, but it's an important thing to understand. Don't just fly through it. You have to make sure you see what is changing and what's staying the same. So 90, 91, 92, you guessed it, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. Now, if we go back and look, what number or place value is staying the same? What digit is staying the same? You guessed it. The tens place is staying the same. But the ones place is changing because we're counting by ones. So we see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, boys and girls, can you tell me why we didn't have to change the 9 to a 10? I kind of set it up here. You're right, because the number in the ones place didn't get above a did not get above a 9. So once you count past 9, then that changes the tens place. Okay. So I hope this lesson is going to be easy for you guys. I'm pretty sure it's going to be. It's really important to be able to recognize the patterns and recognize it on a number chart, okay? So that's really cool. I'm hoping you guys have a great time with this one. It should be nice and easy. Remember to log in after this video. Go back to Seesaw and click the link to log into PowerSchool and then access your Envisions Realize material, and make sure you do that. And remember, again, if you followed this lesson with your printouts, you can take a picture of your 2 printouts and post those in Envisions, okay? So you can save the work by just showing me what you've done. All right? I hope this helps. Can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be more fun. All right? Good luck, guys.